Hey everyone, I'm Wa.
And I'm Chris, and welcome to Docu Sweeties.
We're two longtime friends who discuss the riveting and sometimes trashy world of reality TV and docuseries.
Yes, but through our own lens, honey, which can be, cheesy, it can be umami, it can be, it can be very creamy, it can be salty and peppery, very, very spicy, but at the end of the day, hopefully mildly sweet. Hi. Let me tell you what we're doing. We're talking 90 Day Fiancé. It's before the 90 days. It's season 6, episode 12. This one's called Field of Dreams, which of course is a movie. And I'll tell you, Juan and I, in this moment, cannot figure out why this episode's called that.
But if you build it, it will come. Or if you build it, they will come, which is a quote from that movie. I think. So
It is, but we will ask you guys, and what is the point of that being the title of this episode? And hopefully, if we ask you guys, you will answer.
Okay, so starting off, we have a couple that we haven't seen in a couple of weeks. I don't know how many, but we've got Riley and Violet. She looks so great in this picture.
Yeah, I mean, we knew that he was going to get this piece because we saw it get made for him. So I was happy to see that he looks great in it.
Mm-hmm. He looks good in Royal Blue. So we have 2 days later after the big kerfuffle with the supposed friend / sister Kim or whatever her name is. And so he decides to ask her to come to have dinner or lunch at a cafe. And he says that he's not really well. She says that she's not doing well at all. And this is his peace offering. And he's like, this is a peace offering. Something that we do in America where we say, here's the olive branch. So do you think that you could ever, forgive for what I did to you, Violet? And she's like, no, flowers do not make me forget, So he's like, I understand your culture now, and that friends are not, like family, that family is family. And she's like, you say, answer her. I don't like it. And he says, or one of them says, I accept, but the sincerity is not enough. I think that was him. That sounds like him.
Oh, no, she says it. She's like, I accept your apology, but the sincerity isn't there, which it wasn't because he thought that he was coming with a peace offering, which means a peace offering means that we both did something wrong, but I'll be the bigger person and come there and I'll offer peace. But she thinks he should be 100% apologizing. And this is showcased a lot throughout this whole segment and their whole storyline, which is that he wants her to acquiesce that she's hurt his feelings in various ways, whether talking with the dad or, whatever it is. More so, I will say he feels so sensitive. Sometimes I feel like he's like a little like some like Polly Pocket that like wants to be like cherished like a little princess. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, Riley, you are so special. And, I don't know. I think that I want him to be a little more stronger and just kind of like everything that she's doing for him, even watching him go on the tour of like, of Vietnam. It's just like, this woman is like hosting you. You just seem like someone who's only too happy to be taken on a ride. There's no like, you're not it. You really aren't.
Yeah. She's like, you had this person talking to me like I was a criminal and she was a cop, but I'm not a criminal and she's not a cop. So he's like, well, am I the only wrong person? Do you think that you had anything to say? And she was like, no. And I think the problem is that you ask me these questions, but I don't understand you. And he's like, all right, I will make sure I translate those questions. So she starts talking about the Buddhist culture and religion and, seeing if it's better for the both of them to sign up and, do some spiritual things together. Next scene we have with them is them going to fly a kite right to the tippy height. That's all I know that song.
The tippy height. I loved her. I love that she was like, I'm gonna take him to a temple so he like respects people. I'm not Buddhist, but I will wear this gorgeous coral number for this, and I'll make him wear his little pantsuit. Yeah, they go to fly a kite. He does a good job, and then 2 times. Oh no, I guess not. But this we get to have a conversation about what's real, what's not finance wise, which is always a fun conversation to have. Basically, she's like, okay, if I come to America, I can't work. I have the daughters and everything. You said you would take care of me. What does that mean? What does that mean? And I'm really happy about it, right? Because no one, like Holly and Wayne didn't ask right enough, and like people have to ask. So he goes, well, and in savings and investments, I have $100,000. Is that enough for you? And we all know that this bitch said that she can't understand questions you ask her in English. So why do you think that she's going to understand what $100,000 means in context to living where you live, which she's never lived before, and or that currency, American dollars? We all know that's ridiculous for in the moment to ask her that, right? Well,
it is ridiculous. Also, for his big age, for him to have $100,000 wrapped up in savings and whatever, that tells me that's his 401k and whatever job related investments that he's gone into. He doesn't even have that in like ready cash. Now, I'm not saying you need to have that because I don't. But what I am saying is that if I were to bring somebody from another country and they would have to survive off of me for a while, I would have at least a year's worth of expenses saved up. That's just me. And he's like, I make broke look good. And I was like, no, you can't be broke. You can just be like surviving or a something type of just easy life, like a simple life. I make simple, but broke is a different thing. It's a different level.
You'd be surprised how many, well, there's a lot of people that really want to showcase a certain like style or taste, or they want to be someone that they're not. And you know, I feel like, remember when he like all the jazz and all the cigars, it's like you can't be smoking like a lot of really expensive Cuban cigars, honey. You know, like
Yeah.
we need to be saving those funds. Yeah, I don't know. So then he's like, he pretends that that's enough money for her to come over with her daughters. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
When it's not quite that.
Nope.
And I don't agree that you can make broke look good. I feel like it's mildly an oxymoron. Unless you really have a taste and a style, and you really have to have like a keen eye on top of it. And it's very hard to have that.
Yeah, I would say like Chloe might make broke look good. She's a student. She might not have too much money. Like, I think people can do it. I think that he's not, though. I think that you're right, and that he's more so like just pretending with his like cigars and his music collection. Like he's this guy.
I know. He's like Frank Sinatra.
Yeah. So he's like, hey, you talk to my dad about really sensitive stuff, and she's like, yeah. And he's like, do you feel bad for doing that? And she's like, no. And then
well, he says that the things aren't true. He's like, you know that you texted my dad after we thought things that weren't true. And then she was like, you did things to me and I told your dad. So I don't think that that's another point of contention. She doesn't think the things that happened weren't true. He does. So I think that he's like, you lied to my dad. She's like, no, I didn't. And again, this could be a whole conversation about how family works in Asian cultures and how the barriers of what they know and it might be different. You know?
Yep. Absolutely. Are you ready to move on? So I can move on to Gino and Jasmine, which, oh gosh, this was a really short scene just to kind of wrap up his rude whatevers. So he tells her that she looks pregnant. That's the first thing I recall. Is they're walking down, and he's like, you think you might be pregnant? Because you kind of looking like you might be pregnant. And she's like, oh, are you saying that I look fat, baby? And he's like,
yes, I know. He says no, but we're like, yeah. That's what you said.
And so she's like, baby, what if I move to the United States and I don't want to have any children? And he's like, what? And she's like, I know what it takes to have kids, you know, how much you would do anything for them, except for it's hard, baby.
It's we don't know what's real. We get reminded of the fact that she has 2 sons. They're younger. They're with the family all the time. You know, I would say before the conversation about her looking pregnant, we got a fun shot of them trimming each other's nose hairs, which I love, by the way. I love grooming myself. I could not love grooming myself more. I love the idea of like making sure all my hairs and all my hair, everything is like, you know, perfect. For
Yeah.
me, when I say perfect, not like hygiene, like, you know, like I love anyway. So that part made me happy. And then she basically, this conversation about the kids goes every place that she has hinted it could go. It goes to the place where she's like, look, baby, I didn't even know if you could have kids because you can't even come at one point. And then she's like, look, my family, you know, obviously takes care of my kids here. And if I go to America, I won't need help. And I'm like, oh, is she angling right now for him to, you know, promise wet nurses and whatnot? And then, of course, he's like, well, we have my family. And it's like, shit. I thought, oh, yeah, I fucking hate his family. Well, baby, we don't even know if your family likes me. What would I do? What would you do right now if I said I didn't want to have a kid? Would you leave me? And he's like, well, she's like, you would leave me. But then after this conversation, he goes, all I can do is hope that Jasmine changes her mind when she gets to America. And when he says that, we're all like, well, bye. You know, we're just like, okay, well, he's just like, I'm going to retire and take care of the child all day long. And Jasmine is going to be Jasmine. Like,
Yeah.
I don't even know what he thinks. Sorry. The last thing I'll say is Jasmine comes out a little bit also kind of saying, do you think we're going to be good parents? Also, do you think that I'm going to be a good parent? I think I'm going to be like, you can see that I'm batshit crazy, that I basically don't even take care of my own kids, right? You see that. But now what you're saying is you want to invite me to be your child's mom, knowing that I'm half crazy. And then together we just scream all the time. But that's what you want? Just right here, say it. You know, and the answer is he keeps saying it. Yes.
Absolutely. But before we move on to Statler and Dempsey, let's go to a commercial. What's Shasha?
I don't know. I wanted to. Okay, if we were gonna sing a commercial out song, what would it sound like? And I guess that the Herschel was me in my mind going up a third.
Oh, okay. So if I would say commercial.
Are you staying on one note?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You don't believe me, apparently, which is interesting. Okay. And we're back from commercial.
Commercial.
So let's talk about Statler and Dempsey. Dempsey fully told Statler what it is and what it was, put her ass on the couch, and was like, good morning, crazy. Well, how are you doing? And she's like, are you going to work? And she's like, yeah, crazy, I'm going to work. And so she goes to work. So then Statler has no one to talk to but a friend, apparently, that she has, who she makes a Zoom call with. And as they're on the Zoom call, the friend's like, well, you did sound crazy. Did you ask her? Or did you just tell her? And he's like, whoa, which is Statler.
Yeah, she absolutely was like, you can't just like tell someone I'm going to move in. It's crazy because Statler keeps being like to camera, 100% honest, is like insincere. Like, I just don't get it. We've been talking for 8 months. It's like, what more do you want? We've already been talking for 8 months. I cannot believe that you can talk to someone for 8 whole months and this person not be ready to have a life with you. Can you 8 months to have to waste? Like, I'm just like, she sounds so Savannah style insane from Love to Lock Up, but we're also going to get a lot of her trauma, and we get why. And I will say this: profound loneliness has been the root cause of a lot of people's anguish on the show, and I understand it. And what she says about the drive that she has to be in a relationship, I understand it, which is this: she sees it as She has been devoid of a certain type of love that people have. Sometimes they get it from their parent, right? Because they were born by their parent who loves them. And she didn't get to have that because she was adopted, right? So she felt like immediately that the natural love of that was gone from her. And so from that moment, she's been like, okay, other people get to experience this love. Some of it happens in parents, but a lot of it happens in what this thing is called relationships, romantic relationships, where someone loves someone else and someone loves that person back, and it feels really great. That's the remedy. And so she keeps going through this where she's like, I'm gonna get to that place, honey. I'm gonna get the magic potion where I get to have the love, the love, the love, the love. And I understand it. She's like, but she's 31. And every time she says she's like 31 or 34, sounds like she's saying that she's 75. And every time that she says that she's dated Dempsey for 8 months, in her mind, it's like she's saying for 14 years.
Yeah, it is crazy because she says 33 like she's on the edge of a cliff or her head is just in a guillotine. And if she doesn't have the love and living together and she wants to start everything and wants the unconditional like type of obsessive love, that it's kind of like downhill. And I'm like, here I am, 40, believing that the next 40 years of my life is going to be the 40 years that I do it right. Like, I know that I'll be 80 at the end of that 40 years, which is like a crazy daunting idea. But I'm like, I just want to at least be chilling by 65. Like 65 is when I'm going to be like, okay, 67, maybe I'll still be working, but after that, it's like full, just like chill. And I'm like, you have time, Dempsey. You have time. I mean, Statler. So, anyways, Dempsey gets home and she's like, hello. And Statler's like, would you still with me? How would you know my name is my heart? How much? And Dempsey's like, okay, you can come sleep in the bed now. And Statler's like, oh, that's Statler to me.
Yeah, I mean, Dempsey does her best to really be kind, empathetic, and there for this woman she very much loves, while still trying to be like having grace for her own boundaries. Boundaries. So I give it to her. I think that she moves throughout these segments with a lot of just tact and grace.
Yeah, I think so too. Tact and grace is what I was going to say.
Moving on. Who do you want to go on to?
Mm-hmm. Chloe and
Christian.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I want to also. Okay, I'm just gonna say this about this.
Cleo and Christian. That's
God damn it.
Cleo.
We're really horrible.
Cleo.
You wrote down. Did you write this? Or did I write
my God, who wrote it down? Who's to blame? Fine, it's me. Okay. However, I'm changing it now.
Okay. So we grow up. We start on the street. I'm sorry. I'm like in my own world. You guys, did you know it's Sunday, August 20th when you're listening? I may or may not exist here tomorrow.
Is she trying to tell me to grow up? Is that what happened? Was that a Freudian slip of like, okay, grow up?
I would like to say we started on, but I don't know why I said grow up. I know. We start on, we show Cleo's beautiful tree-lined street that her apartment's on in some London town, honey. You know what I'm saying? It's so cute. We go in through a window. There they are in that bed. The bed doesn't ever look comfortable. It looks like the bed is just like, and I think English style, like it looks like it's a smaller full-size bed than normal. It is a full-size bed. It has to be just a full-size bed. There's 2 people in it, but it just looks so small, and Cleo is so lovely and long. So basically she's like, I'm going to go get my makeup on. And then she like kind of climbs over Christian. And then Christian, she's in a full outfit. And Christian's like, oh, it's like, I didn't mean to do that. And it's like, I'm not quite sure what happened. Did he see her vagina a little bit? Or I'm sorry, whatever. Did he see her bits a little bit or any sort of bits? Like what would, anyway. So that was one part of it.
She just straddled him.
I know. So it's like, oh, just the act of the movement.
Straddle. Yeah.
Got it. Okay, so that makes more sense. And then the second thing is, then she goes and does a full, skincare ritual.
And I want to know what it is.
I think I saw a SkinCeuticals serum.
Oh, okay. I wish she would do something on like TikTok. I've seen her go live on TikTok and I'm like, skincare? And she's doing no. So we find out that she wants to get their charts done for compatibility. And let me tell you right now, I had some beverages while I was watching this, as well as then she was like, I want to do a chart. And I text messaged the gentleman whom I'm the closest with us this time. And I was like, can you please tell me your birthday? And he was like, I mean, your what day your time you were born. And he's like, I told you, I think it's 6 because I asked him this months ago. Months ago, I asked him this when I still lived in California. And he was like, I don't know, 6 a.m. And I was like, no, I need the exact time. So can you ask your mom? So he's like, fine, I'll ask my Bob because he knows it's the second time I've asked him this. But yeah, and I told him it's because I wanted to get our charts read. Now, it's because I had the bebida, so I was feeling a little sassy. So they go to do this, and he's like, listen, I don't want you to put too much into this because I don't believe in this misty woo hocus pocus. And she's like, well, I need this because it's, a way to control my surroundings. And then in the confessional, he's like, well, I have the same birthday as Donald Trump. So what does that mean? And then he proceeds to do a full on Donald Trump impersonation, which I didn't think was terrible.
Me either. Sorry, I'm just going to say, we hate this person, both those people. But on the sweet side, it wasn't a bad impression.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. It was cute. She laughed and we were all, yeah, I was just like, okay, I'm not upset at this. Chris?
Yeah, he's going along for the ride. He's a corn-fed ex something Mormon. I don't know. Here's something about him that, he's obviously whatever he's ex-Christian for sure. So this is definitely not his bag. And he's been taught to think that this is all culty and not real. You know what I'm saying? So I want to also maybe give him a little amount of grace that that's the word of the day, where all of this might be outside of his comfort zone. And he is trying his best, like they go to this beautiful little cafe that I looked up. It was called Feya. Feya in London, have these vines. They're kind of known as being a little Instagrammy, but they have this, nice lady doing the chart. Now, yeah, he's a Gemini. She says she's a water sign. So that means she's either a Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces like me. Wa's a Libra. So if you're listening to this and you want to know if you want to know my thing, I was born at 5:35 March 7th p.m. Or 5:25. I think it's basically the same thing. I'm Pisces, and I'm Leo and Virgo, or those are all of my like other signs. Anyway, so you can do that for me.
I am born at 1. I'm not going to tell you the exact time. In the morning, October 22nd, 82, and I don't know what Libra is. Is it an earth sign? I don't know. Or it's a fire sign, not sure. But my ascending is a Leo, and my moon is, I can't quite remember. But
Libra's an air sign.
Oh. How do you know that? You looked it up?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. I
also thought it to be, so I looked up Libra air, and I was right.
Oh, good. Yeah, I don't, it's not, okay, great. It's not earth or fire, it's air. Wind, earth, wind, and fire. Okay, so, yeah. So anyways, they go through do the reading, and at some point Cleo starts to cry, and his backwards hat was annoying to me. It's like, you know what? I get your, like, don't like your hair because it's leaving you. However, there's other things you can do. That's what I felt. Let me see. I'm going to tell you all of my things. Chris, do you have anything to say? Jean Marie, cut this dead air out for me, please. Thank you.
Sorry, I started eating a piece of cracker. I'm also trying to log into CoStar to tell you my things. I can't.
Oh yeah, I'm logging into CoStar too.
That's making me put in my phone number.
Me too.
I know. So that's what's happening.
What's happening in our lives? Why did it sign me out? That's the question.
I know. So now I have to do this code. I'm putting a number in.
It says, what's your password? I don't know.
Yeah, it's because Facebook okay, well, maybe we should just do this at a different time. I mean, okay, I think once I logged in, I can find you. There you
How,
are. Ready?
yeah.
Okay, so I'm back. Okay, guys, I'll tell you. Wa is Libra, Sagittarius, Leo.
I'm a Sagittarius moon.
So her sun sign obviously is a Libra, mine's Pisces, and together our compatibility, this is what they say for our compatibility. The sun determines your ego, identity, and role in life. It's the core of who you are and is the sign you're most likely to already know. Your sun is in Pisces, meaning you are fundamentally dreamy, insightful, and in your own world. This is them talking to me, Chris Farah.
Facts.
You exist on a chaotic plane of the divine that is not at all material. Your rich imagination endows you with a strong intuition for hidden emotional currents. When you take offense, it is deeply, and you aren't necessarily interested in reconciliation.
I would just
Wait,
like to
this is what
say
they say
these are
about you.
facts. These are facts.
Their sun is in Libra, meaning they are fundamentally orientated towards fairness and justice. They're always generous. Relativism allows them to see both sides of every situation. I don't feel this is true for you. Anyway, the base.
Wow. What do you mean you don't think this is necessarily true for me?
Though this
Rude.
may sometimes come off as an indecisive or insecure. They don't get tied down to a single view of things. They frequently question themselves and rethink their views. They're more impressionable than they appear. They do what they say and can get a lot done. That's true. That's true.
Yes, that's true. And I do think that I think about all different sides.
Okay, and they also say this, typically well dressed.
No, thank you.
Okay, this can be a challenge. Oh,
No,
this can
tell
be.
me.
I know this can be a challenging match. You share sensitivity, but generally go about expressing it in vastly different ways. They
Yes.
constantly need to express themselves to others and make rational sense of their feelings, while you lack the words to convey your emotions, have a tendency to withdraw, and crave tangible emotional support. You both shy away from conflict, which can impede your ability to communicate. If you are able to work at opening up to each other, you will be able to form a very creative duo, connecting artistically as well as over your tender, loving temperaments.
Okay, I think
Okay.
that is true. So rude. She's the
Okay.
rudest. So rude.
Yeah,
So
but
rude.
okay. We'll go back to the show now. Okay, so
Jean
that's
Marie, and we're back. Did we go on commercial yet? Yes, we did. I don't know.
okay. So back. So basically, at the end of the day, Christian's like, look, let's call a spade a spade. Is this whole thing gonna work out between us? This is like, is this Cleo's way of getting us to get out? Like, what is it? So basically, she's like, maybe not, we'll see or whatever, but kind of, yeah, like probably not going to work out or whatever, because you guys fight and you have, it's like she says things that are interesting for toxic things. It's interesting that Cleo says it. To have like an undeniable spark with someone, you can't put your finger on why you are drawn to them, but also that person can sometimes be your enemy, just as like, what? Yeah, that's toxic, right?
Mm-hmm. I don't think so.
So that's all I have to say about them, really, except that I want to go to that restaurant in London. Did I say that already?
Yes.
But yeah. So
Okay.
it's on the list. Nicole and Misha and Sheila and David are who we have last.
Oh, okay, let's do Nicole and Misha.
Okay. Okay, Nicola and Misha, honey, we haven't had them in a goddamn minute. So like, let's pick up. So, they're fishing, which he loves fishing, like he's been loving to fish and she's there and she's trying her hardest, and the tides come in and she like falls a little bit. She skins like one leg or the other and he gets really like upset about it or he wants to fix it. And then she's kind of the one that's kind of like, oh, it's chill. I'm cool. I'm chill or whatever. And he's like not chill about it. And then in his confessional, he's like, I never take Misha again to fishing. It was the worst thing ever. And it's like, okay, if she was the one being like, we gotta go, I skinned my finky, like, then yeah, that'd be annoying. But she's literally the one being like, not a big deal, bleeding into the Mediterranean River, honey. Like, sharks could be coming, not a thing for her. And you're the one making a big deal. Why are you suddenly like, I'll never take her fishing again? It makes no goddamn sense. It's like, you're just being misogynistic.
Yes, he is being misogynistic. The reason why he doesn't want to go with her is because she was basically telling him that it's not very far and it's not very hard. Like she was like shitting on a lot of his things. Like he's walking and she's like, "Can you slow down?" He's like, "Misha, Misha, I walk like a turtle. I'm not walking fast. The Lord Jesus Christ himself was a fisherman." And it's just like, I was also like, how do you fish in the tide? Like how do you fish with the water coming at you? Was just so interesting to me. So he was like, if you want to fall down, you will die, because she was bleeding. So she's just like,
I know.
okay,
It's like he
okay.
wanted her so badly to be like, it's like he wanted her to be a damsel in distress in that moment. And almost like, I'm bleeding, let me jump into your arms, big man, and take me back to the safety of the shoreline, you know?
What if he
And
could carry her though? Like, what if she did just jump into his arms?
he can't carry her. And not
I
because
know.
just because he can't, neither, this means nothing about her, but he can't carry her.
Yeah, he doesn't have the physical strength to do so. So then we have a scene where they talk about the fact that, she's going to meet his family tomorrow and he's not excited about it. And she is worried that he's not excited about it. She's very worried about that. So
Mm-hmm.
he's just like, basically, she's not gonna like you. My mom's not gonna like you because you are divorced. And the way he says it, I just can't imagine being somebody who's like living their grown ass American woman life. And then you go somewhere else and someone who has just nothing turns to you and basically is telling you that everyone in his family is going to judge you because you're divorced. And you're like, that's the least of the things that I've done. Like my divorce is the thing that makes me not worthy of your family, not my success.
Right. And probably you, in your own personal life, you're probably thinking your divorce is one of the best things ever happened to you. In the sense of, you know, I don't think that every woman maybe thinks that way, but I feel like nowadays, like people get divorces because things aren't going right. So
Yeah.
like, but yeah, like he says that, which is interesting. She tries to, in a way, be as dignified and possible, be like, what are you protecting me from? I don't care what, I think she wants to be like, oh, I don't care what your people think. And he wants to be like, oh, they're going to, think you are a bad person. And she wants to be like, oh, who cares? And he's like, that's why I don't want to tell them. And she's like, you're protecting either them or yourself. You don't have to protect me. He's like, no, I'm protecting you. She's like, don't. Because Misha is a TV professional. A TV professional. So what we see is Amisha then go over to Nicola's mom's house. For some reason, Nicola calls his mom by the first name Nadia or whatever. And you see Amisha walk in, be like, oh, Nadia, yes, nice to meet you. Yes, Misha. Yes, here are some flowers. Here are some chocolates, my favorite, Godiva singles, what I used to have on set, my favorite, the sea salt dark chocolate caramels. Let me take you into a world. Misha is going to leave that apartment and then take off the Misha-ness and not give one F about what those people think of her. She just doesn't
Yeah.
care. I wouldn't care either. I'm not saying, those people in the sense of like, I wish them peace. I want them not, but if Nadia was like, oh, look at that Crisfera on, I don't know what you're gonna say, having had sex in her life and she's not a virgin, I'd be like, it's okay.
Yes. Yes.
That's fine that you think that, like, here's the good news. You don't rule over what I eat, which is grape leaves, which is what she makes later. Since I know I can have that in my life without you liking me, you have no bearing over me.
Yes. Yes. He's like, I don't want them to not like you. And she's like, I don't care. This
Care.
is the first and the only time they're gonna meet me, except for when I come here and maybe give them gifts. So they can not like me as long as the day is long. And then gets there and she's trying to like talk, and at some point she realizes that he's not in the room, and she's like, listen, you need to come back and be in this room every single time I'm in here. Then the mother says things in English.
Yes, she does.
So I'm like, does she speak English? She's like, they are finished. And I was like, that is a intricate sentence to say in English. And so I love that the brother is like, his name is Andy, which is like, I never expected that at all. I mean, his name is Andrew, right? What is the
Yeah, it's Andrew.
And so he's Andy. He comes in And they're like, we don't know you. Tell us everything. And she looks at, I'm sure she's probably like, well, it's not my fault you don't know anything. So if you have any questions, you should talk to your sneaky ass brother.
She also doesn't know how to like introduce herself. She's like, why won't you introduce myself to your mother? I don't understand you. I literally just walk in, you're like, hi, Nadia, this one. And he goes into a room like, mom, this is my girlfriend. Like nothing happens. So she hates that. So when it happens again, he's like, you tell. He's like, no, you can introduce me. He's like, he speaks English. And then so she's like, but I want you to say what I'm saying in Arabic for your mom. And that is where he then is like, no, I don't want to tell my private business. Like, I'm sorry. You are underground. You don't want to tell on national television in front of everyone your private business to your you don't want your mom, honey, you're the person that Nadia, she's rolling your grape leaves right now. She pushed 3 men out of her. I mean, honestly, I think that he is fucking insane. So basically, she's like, you're being a little tense, and he's like, well, this is who I am. And I want to be like, why would anyone want to be you? You'll be a virgin for the rest of your life. I want her out. Makes no sense that she's there. You know, and it's like but look at that feast. Do you see that feast that mother made?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So, I mean, I'm here for it 100%. Shall we move on? Okay. So let's move on to David and Sheila.
Yep. Those are those people's names. And Sheila's mom no longer on this planet because of this season.
Mention it.
Well, no, I mean, first of all, can I ask something?
Mm-hmm.
And this is another audience, people, because at the end of that episode, was there a title black screen that said like R.I.P. in memoriam for Sheila's mom? Oh, there was?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So I don't remember it.
Yeah, no, they said it. I can't remember what her name was, but they put it in there.
Okay, good. So, you know, we're going into a fun thing. We're going to go to the beach and, you know, like have some fun times, you know, with the gang. It's, you know, the translating nice lady,
Amy and John Rell. But did you notice the sounds that he was making and how Amy was like, did you ask him why he's making those sounds? He has no idea he's making them.
And he does, this is like, he makes a sound almost at a metronome pace that she thought that when Sheila was on the phone, she thought it was a phone sound because it was like, you know, it sounds like that, like, it's like a rhythmic kind of grunt. And then, of course, he gets asked during the confessionals and he's like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yes.
But I guess in my mind, I'm like, okay, so right now, I mean, if that's not okay, you're like, if you make a sound with your throat, right, you can feel the vibration, which, like, if we all read fucking Miracle Worker, you know, we all know how Helen Keller had to, like, learn how to, like, Annie Sullivan, her language, you know, so you feel that, you're like, oh, like, is someone, no one's been up to him and be like, oh, hey, buddy, put your hand here, like, see how what's that sound? You hear that? Like, what is that sound? And be like, oh, I am, you know, I'm surprised. It really goes to show you how, and this is where my heart hurts and profound loneliness steps in, maybe how solitary and isolated he's been.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that, you know, it definitely is interesting that he doesn't know he's making it. Even, I mean, and they're not rude enough to point it out to him, like when he's actually doing it, because she could have easily been like, or something, but she doesn't. And so then it takes a long time to get to whatever beach place they're going to. They finally get there. They're skipping rocks. They play the slap hand game because he doesn't really know how to relate to John Rell. He doesn't know what to do. So he just tries his best at every different time. But also John Rell has no interest in being like personable at all. Like John Rell is like has no social skills. He is not talkative. Oh, sorry. Did I upset you? I said he has no social skills.
I'm trying to think. It's like, what do you, I guess I'm trying to think what you might be expecting of like a young Filipino, you know, 9-year-old.
I'm just thinking of a 12-year-old boy. He's 12.
Okay,
12-year-old boy.
His mom, you know, his mom's on this reality show. His grandma literally just died. You know, like he's meeting some white gentleman who can't hear and doesn't say anything to him either, and he's the adult. But it is so interesting because the minute that she like brings it up, it's like he looks over and he just starts like doing the slap thing of like, who can slap the hand and thumb more, and it's like instantaneously a connection is made through play that is nonverbal. And it's like, it's, I'm just, not to be like a nightmare, but I am, is I've been taking stupid clown classes, right? Like so it's just like, it isn't language of gameplay and play that gets people on board immediately in this weird visceral way that's like, you know what we're doing? We know what we're doing this thing. And it's like, then joy and everything comes out of that. I actually loved this scene for that. I thought it was incredibly specific and remarkable how it happened.
Oh, good. I still would like to think of John Rell as being like having no social skills. That's my joke about John Rell. So
okay, and I just want you to remember that his mother and grandmother just died. What? So just like remember the fact that his grandmother just died, and you really go ahead and complain about his social skills. But you do you. I hope he can sleep at night.
Thanks. I shall sleep well.
Like a baby.
like a child. Anyways, so I mean, like, yeah, so they have a scene where he says he doesn't want to come to the US, and David is like, okay, well, I'll be your dad. And it's just a lot of,
I will be your father figure. Put your time hand in mine. I will be appreciative. I love George Michael, honey. You can't see me some George Michael, honey. I love me some George Michael. Okay,
I do. I really love I love the fact that he wrote Careless Whispers.
Yeah.
Of a good friend to the heart and mind. Anywho, so yeah,
we also have another conversation about money.
I missed that. I was packing. Tell us about it.
So it was kind of like, it's funny because Sheila starts to kind of also hint at this. I want to know if he has enough money to support us, which is interesting because half of us can be like, okay, is the alternative where you are now, which feels maybe this is it might be a step up from that. I mean, maybe, but or not. Like, he has 2 jobs. He rents a place. She's like, if we move to America, is there a room for my son? And the answer is right now, no. He has a 1-bedroom apartment. I think in her mind, she was like, apartment, oh, he rents? Like, she didn't even know if maybe he had a house or rent. Again, like, I don't, Why has mentioned this in other places that their country land laws are different, that people just own or just have places. There's no renting that so we don't know what she understand, anyway, it's all very different. And so she wants to kind of know, like, monetarily what he can do, as well as she says, like, she wants to make sure that he can, like, provide for her and her son. At the same time, it's like, but what are the other options, babe? Like, who, like, and I mean, I love you, but this house is not being provided for. I don't know what is the other options, are you wondering that there's other men that could provide for you more? And if so, like, can you tell me more about those options?
Exactly. Yeah, no, he can't provide for them. This is what I was saying the last time we talked about them, and he couldn't afford the 1,700. Like, he shouldn't be doing this with the funds that he has. He doesn't have enough money to support her and a child. $800 a week is not enough. It's not enough. I don't make enough for myself, and I make more than $800 a week. So, like, Nebraska, maybe, I mean, Nebraska probably pretty cheap, but like clothing, food, shelter. He's just feeding himself right now, and then going to the arcade, playing pinball, and then having a couple of drinks at the local bar. Like, his life is going to completely change. So if they did have a conversation about money, I'm happy for her, because she's really smart to ask these questions now.
Like, who's paying for the translator? And who's paying for, like, this meal? They go to this restaurant, and I'll tell you, this restaurant serves them every yummy thing possible. At one point, they get ramen. At one point, they have pizza. At one point, John Arell's, it looks like he's, like, yumming down on a mango smoothie. I mean, the ramen in itself, I was, like, whilst looking at that ramen and, like, wanting in. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Listen, it says Mercury determines how you communicate and talk, you and me. Mercury determines how you communicate and talk, think, and process information. It also indicates how you learn. It is the mind's planet. Your Mercury is in Libra, meaning your intellect sees both sides to every situation. Okay. Anyways, that's just a little bit about our Mercury. Last couple that we're going to talk about. Are they the last couple?
Yeah.
Yes, thank the Lord, have mercy on my soul. Okay, you guys, we made it through. Thank you so much for joining us. If you would like to support your girls and do $10 a month for patreon.com/docusweeties, you can do so. Um, you get a live very first Monday of the month. You get the episode 24 hours before anybody else. And it also just truly helps us to do this podcast and to pay the folks to help us do things with the podcast. So we're so grateful and thankful.
Yeah, it supports us so that we can get our green juices and our charts read, like we need Pilates, and we need like someone to organize our houses, and we just have to have things. And so if you can just give us money for those things, that would be great.
I watched somebody on TikTok say that the 3 things that she does that are high maintenance, so that she can make her life low maintenance is 1, she pays for a professional organizer to come and help her out once a month. She 2 pays for someone to come and clean her home twice a month. And 3, I can't remember the 3rd one, but those first two were key. I was like, yes, you're absolutely correct. You have to do this for yourself. These are great things.
The organizer, I'm sorry. We'll end this episode. Don't worry if you're still listening. But yeah, I had a conversation with our friend Morgan, and Morgan said that she has an organizer that came in, and I was like, oh, she comes back, and I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. They would come back because you accrue more things, and you have to get rid of things and stuff like that. Like, I never thought of having. First of all, I never had my house organized at all, but I can't even imagine. And this is just like extra problems. I can't even imagine having a person come back. But I guess it's like cleaning. But to me, it's like, I think that if you just get your home organized and you have someone cleaning, what are you getting that has to be like also put away by organizer?
I would need somebody to tell me, hey, these are your patterns. It looks like you're not cleaning up after yourself afterwards, or you're not making time to do whatever. Or, hey, like, you're keeping things in order. Good job. Good job. So, like, what else can we do? Like, I don't know, but it's a good thing. And I was like, ooh, once I become a lady, not an adult, I will get those things too, because it doesn't come natural to me. I mean, I need somebody to do my kitchen, to do this bookshelf here, to like tell me what I need, and there's just many rooms to get done. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for joining us. You should consider doing those high maintenance things so that it keeps your life low maintenance. And we'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.